What is dangerous to forget? That you're not immune to propaganda. The amount of people who think they're too smart to fall for propaganda is scary. That the beautiful wild animal is still wild animal. But cheetah look like big kitty. And bear look like fluffy dog. Bears break my heart. They're so adorable, so adorable. But they all want me to die. They're smart too, luckily half the time they don't want to eat you, they just want to be left alone, or want what's in your cooler. Unless it's a polar bear. Then you better hope to God you got Coca-Colas in there. Which pedal is the go pedal and which is the stop? I did this and ruined my parents' car and garage. Mute and turn off the camera when you are done interviewing. Tell that to Robert Durst. Context. He was suspected of a murder and got away with it. They did a documentary about him years later, and he went to the bathroom wearing a hot mic and essentially confessed in the bathroom. Cleaning out your dryer vents regularly. If they become completely blocked, it can lead to a house fire. I saw this happen once. I came downstairs to the smell of smoke, and my body was furiously trying to put out the fire. Luckily it wasn't that big. A fire extinguisher is something you never want to have to look for. They're expensive, but it's worth having a few in very noticeable spots in the house. Would you say a fire extinguisher is dangerous to forget? A few years ago, while moving into a house I had rented with some friends, one of my roommates put his cigarette out and threw it in the completely full trash bin outside. Of course it started a garbage fire, so I grabbed the extinguisher off the wall and ran outside to put it out. When I squeezed the handle nothing came out, so I looked at the gauge and realized that it was empty. We ended up tipping the trash can over, and spilling the previous tenant's garbage all over the driveway to keep the fire from getting any bigger while we dumped water on it. Then we had to shovel all the wet garbage back in the trash can. Keeping good dental hygiene really bites you later on if you're not careful. I grew up in a household that didn't teach dental hygiene. 32, and on Wednesday I start my first of 6 procedures to get my mouth fixed. 6K worth of work. So nervous, but so excited for the future. Edit, you all are amazing. Thank you for your kind words. Dental hygiene is so important. If you're nervous with expenses, believe me, of all people. This whole ordeal has stressed me out the last 10 years, never having dental insurance. Always working in the restaurant industry. I told my new dentist this 2 weeks ago. He said, "You would be really surprised, there might be a dentist out there that has a legitimate plan for those that can't afford it." To turn off gas stove. There's a Simon and Garfunkel song about an old man that lives by himself, and is very antisocial. One night he leaves the gas on, leaves the windows closed, and dies in his sleep. Edit, it's a most peculiar man. That you shouldn't just mix whatever cleaning supplies you have available, some of it can form a deadly gas and kill you ASAP. Ammonia and chlorine bleach specifically. A very real danger. Installing a carbon monoxide detector. Oh shit, I need one of those. Plot twist, you already bought one but forgot because of amnesia from CO poisoning. Remember that dude that thought someone was breaking into his house and leaving weird shit all over his house, and it turned out he had a leak and was doing it all himself? Whether or not you took your meds for the day. I can never remember if I did so to keep from taking them twice. I got one of those containers with a box for each day. Doesn't help me remember to take them though. I always forget, but it's just springtime allergy medicine. Nothing major like heart medicine. Edit, damn it. I missed my alarm again. The master password to your digital vault. People have lost hundreds of millions of dollars from forgotten passwords. Edit, typo. I feel like I have internalized my master password in the same way that I have internalized the alphabet or simple math. I think I could get amnesia and it will be one of the things that I'll still remember. My husband did this shit. Then miraculously one day months later he was like, aha. I remember well, thank fucking God. I also found he had a safe in the back of drawer with a ton of cash. And a wallet in his old school backpack with $825. He doesn't remember ever putting cash in either. I take care of the finances now, woman face palming. That you had something in the oven. Or the toaster. My sister once said to me, can you check the bread I put in the toaster? When I opened the kitchen door, the smoke was so intense, I couldn't see more a couple of feet. Turns out, she put bread in the defective toaster some 20 minutes before asking me. It only took 2 hours to get rid of the smoke and a mere 2 weeks to get rid of the smell. Or forgetting to turn the oven off after you take the food out. It's not as dangerous as leaving something in the oven, but if you leave the house for work with the oven on all day, then that is definitely a hazard. When the warning label on something reads inflammable, it means that it's highly flammable. It will burn easily, not otherwise. Flammable and inflammable are synonyms. This is a primary example of the stupidity of the English language. That you're driving. Oh shit, thanks for reminding me. I had a co-worker that used to joke that he would never text and drive, only send work emails. Really funny guy. Great turnout at his memorial. Do not put water on a grease fire. Do not put water on a grease fire. It will make the fire grow. If you have a grease fire, place a metal lid or flat pan over the source of the fire to deprive it of oxygen. Turn off the heat source. If you can't do a lid, pour baking soda on it. Edit, also salt and damp dish towels, from commenters. That the gun is loaded. You should always treat it like it is loaded. Your parachute. You don't need a parachute to skydive, you just need a parachute to skydive twice. It's hard to argue with that assessment. What you are allergic to. There was a guy on Reddit that said though he was allergic to shellfish, he loved it. Said he used to take Benadryl before he'd have any. That stopped helping after a while, so he'd just bring his EpiPen when he went out for crab. Haven't heard any more from him in quite a while. That the handle of the frying pan you stuck in the oven will be violently hot if you don't use an oven mitt to pull it out. Or if you forget the handle is still hot after pulling the pan out and walking away for 10 minutes. Always leave a mitt/towel on top of the handle after taking it out. I learned to do this after burning my hand, and then having a family member touch it and burn themselves too. Nuclear launch codes. In the 50s 80s the code was 0000. So basically a 10-year-old could launch nukes if he got into a military base. That's too stupid. Of course the government set codes. But the men actually in charge of launching believed that if there was ever an attack, a counterattack had to be launched as soon as possible and inputting codes would waste time, so they set it to 0. That putting a croissant in the microwave for 20 minutes has a different effect than it being in an oven for 20 minutes. Edit, thanks, stranger, for this Toasty at Home award. I laughed so hard I farted. Edit 2, for everyone asking why I put a croissant in the microwave, in my country the microwave and oven can be the same machine. I was making fresh croissants from French pastry. I set the time and then accidentally moved the wheel to microwave instead of oven. I like how specific this one is. Black smoke everywhere. I'm ashamed to say I've done this twice. By accident, But still, no fun coming out of the shower only seconds before everything goes up in flames. Close calls. I'm just gonna give you a new thing not to forget. Do not shower when cooking. The face of your father. That never ends well. Your girlfriend's birthday. No problem if no girlfriend. Don't invade Russia in the winter. That you're not wearing the pants with the keys but went to the store in your joggers for like once in your life, because you were hungover, because then when you get back and stand outside your door like a proper fool you realize that your phone is still in your apartment as well, not that it would matter too much since your flatmate would sleep through a civil war, and probably won't wake up for hours. Did you end up getting in the house or did you have to start your life over with nothing but the joggers? I repurposed the joggers into a tent and have set up a small shop outside the building that was formerly my residence. I make a living out of selling leeks that I have grown out of the groceries I went out to get that fateful day. It's been 5 years. My flatmate has not woken up yet. Your baby is in the backseat of the car. The amount of parents who forget their kids are still in the car after they lock it and roll their windows up is honestly horrifying. Especially here in Florida, cars turn into ovens and will practically fry your infant child inside out. I can't even handle driving with the windows down with no AC. I couldn't imagine what it's like for a small infant who's still strapped in to be sweating and crying for someone to get them out. I couldn't imagine the physical pain of coming back and your child isn't moving and is in a pool of sweat. I was told once before that if you have a baby in your backseat, put your shoes in the back with the baby and drive barefoot cause you're not going to go into the store without your shoes, and when you go to get your shoes you'll realize you also have the baby back there. What is dangerous to forget? Leave a comment, and subscribe to this channel if you wanna see more same videos.